we've got a great show scheduled tonight, but first, a little recap of what happened last week. As you may recall, we had the legendary Dale Oliver, National Yo-Yo Grandmaster and Yo-Yo Hall of Fame inductee, tell us his deepest, darkest, innermost secrets. If you missed that show, it's worth going back and rewatching and memorizing every detail for future reference. You never know when that may be the $1,000 Jeopardy question, or a mugger may tell you your money or your life, or tell me what year Dale Oliver started his company Spintastics. Improbable? Maybe, but look at what's going on in the world right now. I would say all bets are off when it comes to improbability. That would be episode 10, and you can find that on the Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk Facebook page and on our YouTube channel with the same name. The lightning round quiz last week was won by none other than the Nickinator's mother, and then she struck again, winning the grand prize as well. So now it is very clear the only chance the world has against the Nickinator is his mommy. And I don't know who paid off his mom to take him down with such a thrashing, but a heartfelt thanks to whoever. The last time the Nickinator stopped by my house, his head was getting so big that I could hardly get it through the front gate. Nothing like your mom crushing you in a game of mental skill to completely take the wind out of your sail. Congratulations to the Nickinator's mom. I hope you put him in his place again and make him squeal like a little girl that just got mud splashed on her dress. Or perhaps some other intrepid individual will be man enough to break the Nickinator family dominance of yo-yo talk, but I wouldn't bet on it. So for tonight's show, I'll be talking about Pedro Flores, the man who started the first yo-yo craze in America and the person responsible for popularizing the name yo-yo on the toy. I'll also have a short interview that I had a few months back with his nephew, and a few weeks ago, Dano stopped by and we did a little bit of trading, and if you've never traded yo-yos with anybody, this is how it's done. It rarely draws blood, and it's entirely pain-free. So, before we go any further in the show, I want to do a lightning round quiz right now. This is for honor, glory, and the American way. And it is also for a Spintastics Technic yo-yo signed by the man himself, Dale Oliver. And this happens to be one of only 3 glow yo-yos that Dale made that is not highly radioactive. So you don't even have to use lead gloves to play with this one. We kindly ask the Nickinator family to give everyone a 3.5-second head start before they answer the question, but that won't help because they've already answered the question correctly, but I have changed the question and they didn't know it. So here it is. According to Tom Kuhn's website, to the nearest minute, how many minutes did the Silver Bullet 2 sleep when tested? The Nickinator family must answer in the Navajo language.
All right, let's see who gets this. We getting some answers in there, Sean? How we doing? We're still waiting on those answers to come in. This is a real easy question if you know it. It's really hard if you don't. Yes, folks, there are only so many numbers out there. and we know the world record is 30 minutes. So you know it's less than 30 minutes. And you know that yo-yo was made a long time before that world record was ever set. You've hit just about every number except for the 1. This is a very common number. I use it quite frequently, folks. Look at the number that hasn't been said yet, folks. It's like the only one. You've hit every number but that one. This was supposed to be like really quick, This is why we call it the lightning round. We're going to. Okay, come on. Oh, we got a winner. Okay, who's our winner, Sean? Who? Rick Rents. Congratulations, Rick, man. You got it. 5 minutes. That was it. The magic number was 5. Everybody. Oh, yes. Okay. Now, Brian somehow thinks the number is 0. And I want to explain the number 0 to you. That is not. The number is also not infinity either. So it was actually somewhere between 0 and infinity, and the actual number was 5, a very good number. So congratulations to Rick. Rick wins that nice autographed yo-yo. All right, well let's keep on moving on here, Sean.
Now I know you all are frothing at the mouth, wanting to know what tonight's prize package that the Nickinator or the mother of the Nickinator is going to win.
Lots of good stuff tonight in our prize package. Let's just take a little quick look-see here at the total package, and then we'll go into a little more detail on what we've got. As usual, I'm giving away a Lucky's Collector's Guide to 20th Century Yo-Yo, signed copy. Also a Doc Lucky Yo-Yo. We've got a signed copy of the Zombie Cause Dictionary. You shouldn't be without that book. And then we also have a Doc Ruger Yo-Yo, which is associated with the Zombie Cause book. Celebrating the topic of discussion for tonight, which is Pedro Flores, we are giving away a Pedro Flores counter display box. It's unfortunately empty, but it's still a great collectible and probably the best item here. Oh, wait. I forgot about the Doc Ruger Yo-Yo. Maybe that is the second best item. We also have a couple of Duncan Yo-Yos from the 60s, beginner top minty mint in package, and also that Duncan red return top there. And here we have a Duncan Butterfly from the early 70s on card. Think bell-bottom pants with patches and Dr. Timothy Leary. This is the psychedelic butterfly, although Duncan called it their pastel butterfly, but I will always refer to it as the psychedelic butterfly because that's much cooler. Or hip if you lived in the 70s. And here's a Duncan Trick Book from the 60s. It's got a price tag of 10 cents. You could get this, or you could get a Coke out of the machine for the 60s, or 2 Rat Fink rings out of the gumball machine. Here we've got a couple Spectra Star yo-yos, the Hunchback of Notre Dame and a Spider-Man. I've always liked a Hunchback. Sanctuary! I wanted to build a bell tower in the house, but my wife wouldn't let me. There's a Omega lube pin right there. You don't see those around. And a Cheerio award patch right above it. And let's see, we've got down here a Royal 3 Jewel. That's one of the re-releases. It is numbered and signed on the back. I see a Alox Flying Disc. This one is probably from the 60s. Alox never did run promotions or contests, so it's not as collectible as some of the promoted brands. There's also a wooden Mickey Mouse yo-yo there. Now, some tool will tell you that it's from the 30s based on its look, but these were actually made in the 70s and released by Hallmark, so not worth hundreds of dollars like some people would like you to believe. And to round out the prize package, I see we got a couple Hummingbird yo-yos there and a BC yo-yo. Those are all nice wood yo-yos from the 80s. And I see we've got a leather yo-yo pouch there and a black mamba, the non-poisonous type. So let's check out the value of our prize package for tonight. And it is $296. Not too shabby.
So this week I'm going to talk about Pedro Flores, and that's the way he pronounced it, not Piedro. And I think there are a few historical people in the yo-yo world who are more legendary than Pedro Flores. He is one of the 3 inaugural honorees for the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. Some folks mistakenly report that Flores was the inventor of the yo-yo, or also mistakenly believe that he patented the yo-yo. Both statements are absolutely false. The toy had obviously been around for hundreds of years in the Philippines, and several U.S. patents are on record of yo-yos referred to as bandolores in the United States before Flores was born or even immigrated to the United States in 1915. Although Flores yo-yos do say patent pending on them, this was just a marketing ruse to try to eliminate competition. Duncan did the same thing on some of their early yo-yos as well. Flores never held a patent on the yo-yo, but he did register the yo-yo name as a trademark. One reporter in the newspaper during the late 20s said, "We've all done the yo-yo before, but we never had a name for it." Although Flores copyrighted the name yo-yo, he really was not the first to introduce the word yo-yo or the toy itself to the United States. In reality, Jose Rizal, one of the Philippines' revolutionary heroes, preceded Flores by 40 years and demonstrated the yo-yo in the United States in 1888. He also was the one that documented the yo-yo was used as a weapon in the Philippines. And if you want to check that out and see more about it, you can go to an earlier episode where I discuss the yo-yo was actually used as a Filipino weapon, which goes against everything we've been told, refuting that over the years. Beyond Rizal, there are other references to the toy being called yo-yo. For example, Scientific American had an article about the Filipino yo-yo. I think it was in 1916, which preceded the Flores yo-yo by over a decade. What Flores did that was unique was that he took the word yo-yo and he actually put it on the toy, and then he trademarked it, which is a very smart thing to do. In my mind, that word yo-yo is not why Pedro Flores should be revered in the yo-yo community. The real reason he should be placed on a pedestal, as he did one thing nobody else had done with the toy in the United States. He ran the first yo-yo contest, and that was in Santa Barbara, California in 1928. And that, my friend, started the first yo-yo craze of many crazes to come over the next decades. So what made the yo-yo a true multi-generational toy was Flores' idea to have a competition, and there's nothing Americans like more than competing and, of course, winning prizes. So there is no doubt that Flores was the innovative promoter of the yo-yo and made the word yo-yo a household name. Now, Pedro Flores came from the Philippines and immigrated in 1915, and he apparently came from a reasonably wealthy family and immigrated to the United States for educational opportunities. We know that he attended the High School of Commerce in San Francisco on 1919 and 1920, and then apparently he enrolled at the University of California, Berkeley at the Hastings College of Law and was apparently doing well in school, but did leave his law study, so he never obtained a law degree. Apparently, he was in and out of several jobs over the next few years, but made some attempts to get investors interested in the yo-yo without much success. Now, the exact story on how he got his start may never be known, but pieced together from newspaper interviews, this is about as close to the story as how he got started there is. Flores was working as a bellhop for a hotel, but he was staying with a family that had a young child. The child was playing with a ball that was attached to either elastic or rubber cord, and Flores could not get over the fact that people selling this toy were making tons of money, and he felt the yo-yo was a much better toy. So he hand-carved one for the boy, and then the parents became interested in it, and then friends of the parents became interested in it, and then the next thing you know, he was carving several yo-yos every day, and he couldn't meet the demand. It sounds as though like the father of the son may have provided the finances to have him start his first yo-yo company in June of 1928. And by November, he had produced over 2,000 yo-yos. These numbers caught the eyes of investors James Lewis and Daniel Stone of Los Angeles, and another yo-yo manufacturing company was made that in 4 months had produced over 100,000 yo-yos. Ultimately, there ended up being 3 Flores companies: the Flores and Stone Company of Los Angeles, the Flores Yo-Yo Corporation of Hollywood, and the Yo-Yo Manufacturing Company of Santa Barbara. The Flores Yo-Yo was marketed as the Flores Wonder Toy, and its marketing slogan was, and get this, if it's not a Flores, it's not a yo-yo. I repeat, if you didn't hear me the first time, if it's not a Flores, it's not a yo-yo. So it sounds like in 1930, when Flores sold the trademark to Duncan, the tagline was also absorbed by Duncan as well. The real genius of Pedro Flores was that he essentially invented the yo-yo contest, and this was the driver of yo-yo sales. He repeated this process all over the country, and he hired Filipinos who already was familiar with the toy to be his demonstrators. Not only did he run the first contest, he held the first contest in a theater at the Gates Theater, and over the decades, theaters became one of the most common venues for hosting yo-yo contests. Flores is also the first to give away prizes at contests. This could have been a monetary prize or donated gifts from local merchants. Contests in the late 20s were not like we think of them now, or even just 2 to 3 years later. The most common competition was who could play the yo-yo, making it go up and down the longest. Real yawner there. And the contest sometimes went on for hours. Other categories in yo-yo contest included such things as the largest yo-yo, the yo-yo with the longest string, the best looking homemade yo-yo, etc. While it's not known by the general community that Pedro Flores married an American, and his brother-in-law was Jerry Schunk, who was probably the very first Caucasian professional yo-yo demonstrator. Jerry was in many of Pedro Flores's early yo-yo campaigns, and he was his right-hand man in his early Duncan years when Flores arranged those contests for Duncan. I had a chance to interview with Jerry Schrunk's son, who was the nephew of Pedro Flores, and let's roll that interview right now.
Yeah, Pedro Flores was my uncle. Well, Pedro, when I was a boy, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and he's just a funny man, but a nice man. He couldn't drive very well. He couldn't keep the car on the road because he was all over the place. So his wife would do all the driving. My dad, Gerald E. Shunk Sr., he traveled with Pedro, and Pedro was working for himself.
At that time?
At that time. No, there wasn't no Duncan in there. So it must have been the
late 20s. Now, did your father ever play with the yo-yo before he met Pedro?
No.
Never played the yo.
Not that I know of. He never said that. But these are my dad's yo-yos that he did most always demonstrate with. They were all worn out doing the walking the dog.
Hold them up like that.
Oh. There was nothing he couldn't do with that yo. He did teach a lot of Filipinos the yo-yo tricks and all that stuff. It's in here too. Very good at working the yo-yo, and eventually became the United States champion in 1933. They went all over to the United States and demonstrated yo-yos and give demonstrations out there and then they had the tournaments going on. But he mostly did that full time with Pedro. Now, Pedro sold his collection to Duncan for $25,000 back then, which was a lot of money back then. But then that's how Duncan got into it.
As mentioned, Flores sold his trademark to Don Duncan, and several different prices were given for the sale of the company, ranging from anywhere from $25,000 to $250,000. I suspect the price range was closer to $25,000 based on this being in the midst of the Depression. However, Flores ran some of the early Duncan contests at least through 1932, along with his brother-in-law, Jerry Shunk, and several other Filipino demonstrators. After leaving Duncan, he briefly set up the Bandolore Company, which apparently was a no-go. He was competing against the trademark brand of the toy that he had made a household name. Later, after World War II, Flores helped Joe Radovan, who was the founder of the Royal Yo-Yo Company, set up the Chico Yo-Yo Company, and he did some demonstrations for Joe through the Chico Company rather than through the Royal Yo-Yo Company. And in 1954, he gave one last shot at having his own yo-yo company with the Flores Corporation of America, which briefly produced another line of Flores Yo-Yos. The famous Hall of Famer Linda Singh Powell was his primary demonstrator during the 50s, and he was promoting the Flores Yo-Yo once again. Needless to say, as far as collecting yo-yos go, Flores yo-yos are considered the holy grail of yo-yos. The early models, which were only made for a couple of years, are difficult to find. And as I always say, you're not a Jedi yo-yo collector until you found your first Flores yo-yo or traded for it in the wild. Buying it on eBay just doesn't count. Flores yo-yos typically sell in the hundreds of dollars, and a couple of models are majors. A major meaning they broke the $1,000 barrier at some sale or auction. And so that's my little snippet on Pedro Flores. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another contest we're holding. I happened to see this box come up on eBay as I was searching for my hot picks of the week. This was a couple of weeks back. It was one of these mystery boxes where you don't know what's inside, but here's the thing. It shows yo-yos as being some of the items that's in the box. Now, I don't know if there's one, I don't know if there's 50, I don't know if they're old or new, or if they're just trash. Also, there's a bunch of other stuff in there, such as like comic books and other junk that, yo-yo collectors probably don't care about, but, well, you can read the list. Now, the price is a bit on the high side, and I seriously doubt you're going to find $250 worth of really cool stuff in there. But I do think one time for this show, I'll do it, because the contest is a pretty good bribe for the winner. So these mystery boxes are apparently popular on YouTube, where they have unboxing videos. So in a sense, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do an unboxing video of this on the show. But the catch is, I'm going to let somebody win this box before we do the unboxing, and I have no idea what's going to be in this box. We haven't received it yet, but apparently it's on its way. Oh, now everybody's saying, yeah, I'd like to have this big mystery box and all the cool contents, or garbage as the case may be. How do I win this wonderful prize? So it's easy. First, all you need to do is get people to like Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk page, and you get 1 point for every person you get to like the page that messages us with your name. But if you really want to score some points, anybody you get 18 or under that likes the page, we will give you double the points. And if you're watching from Tennessee, that means 2 points. Those 18 and under worth double of some of the old geezer that is 60 years old. Now, the last time we did the Nickinator one's hands down, but this way I figure the Nick only has limited number of friends because his mom can't keep writing all those weekly checks to that many people. And I know from my own experience, right now she's late on my check, so I will be unfriending him very shortly if I don't get that in the mail. So if the mom is behind on her checks to the people that she hires to be the Nickinator's friends, the contest is wide open. So you can start inviting people right now. Just make sure when they like it, they put a comment to us or message us that it was referred by you, or you won't get the credit. And if they're under 18, they need to mention that they're under 18 or give us their age, or we won't know to give you the double bonus points. So before we move on, I want to mention these really cool yo-yos that I just picked up recently from Ed Davidson. If you're not familiar with Ed Davidson, he makes customized yo-yos, and some of them are amazing. These are COVID-19 yo-yos, and I couldn't help showing these off. I don't know how many he's made, but if you go to his website, he might have a few left. Definitely something that you would want to pick up, because historically, one day these will be collectible. I absolutely guarantee it. Sadly, a lot of his best work doesn't have seals, and I think everyone knows how much I think it's important to have seals on a yo-yo because it makes it less collectible. Now, some of them do have seals, but the ones that don't, even though they're still artistically amazing yo-yos, they may be worth collecting. But you can check out his work at yoyospin.com. And no, this is not a paid promotion. I don't do that kind of thing here on the show unless somebody's just giving me something to give away to the viewers. I show off stuff that I think is really cool. So check out Davidson's work and you won't be disappointed. So Dano showed up at my house a few weeks ago, and initially I didn't want him in because he's kind of a sketchy looking guy, but he waved a couple yo-yos in front of the gate camera that I didn't have, and that's kind of like flashing a dime bag in front of a heroin addict. So we did a little bit of trading, and this is how it went.
I did bring you some yo-yos to trade. This is actually the Confusion GT, so it's a little bit wider than the actual Confusion, and wider than the Cold Fusion GTs from back in the day. And then this one right here is kind of a mix between.
Can I take a throw?
Yeah, give that a throw. Careful, because it is set very responsive right now.
Oh, it's okay, this is responsive. Oh, yeah, you're right. All right. So I'm not going to have to do a bind. It's just going to, oh, okay, great.
Oh, this is your kind of yo-yo. Like
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, that one will give you a
nice.
real dog bite. So,
Yeah.
So I also wanted to trade with you the basically like the next step from that. This is kind of a mix between another yo-yo that Yo-Yo Factory made famous, the 888, which has the hub stacks on it, and a mix between this Confusion GT. So this is the 888 GT. So price point, just FYI, price point on one of these is probably around $40, $45, and this one's probably around the $50 to $55
Okay,
price
well, those
point.
are reasonable.
But again, like,
It is unresponsive.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice.
Some pretty cool yo-yos right there. So I figured if you would be down to trade those with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then-
I don't have it in.
And then
Yo-Yo Factory is an amazing company that produce all kinds of good stuff and very innovative. Hans, of course, is a legend in the community, so I'm glad he's out there still doing stuff. And I guess Ben's still with him doing all their stuff. Ben has actually swam the lake, believe it or not. So we got to get those guys on the show too.
Yeah, well, I'll make a deal. I'll swim the lake when Ben comes back down and swims the lake. So hopefully I'll trade you these today.
Oh, have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's nice because that is a knockoff Duncan from Mexico. Notice it says Duncan.
Wow.
Ah, yeah, that's a cool yo-yo there.
Walk to the right. Look at that light.
Yeah, see, now this, for me, this hits on a bunch of different levels because I also collect action figures, and one of the things that I'm always looking for are like knockoff Mexican action figures.
That's definitely the knockoff Mexican Duncan yo-yo.
Wow,
so.
this is cool. This could actually get put on like the display with the Duncans and everything. Get a look at that. It's pretty cool.
We got a trade going on here, and so Dano's had a chance to look through and pick out some nice stuff. Now Dano likes to collect butterfly-shaped yo-yos. He's really into the butterflies, and I like directed collecting where a person kind of picks a subject and they really go after that. That makes it more fun because you really can get into a certain topic. And so his topic is butterflies, but he's also picked out this very nice. This is a Russell from Australia. I'll just mention that when it's got the imprinted seals like that, that's, I believe, 1976 or before. So if they've got that imprinted seal, you know it's one that's pretty old, and it's hard to get some of those from the other countries. So there are a huge number of Russell collectors out there. They're usually not from the United States, but you're competing with guys that really like Russell yo-yos. Here is Batman. This is from when they released it. I'm going to go on my memory here. I think it was 1978 when they released the superhero series. This was the first yo-yo that came out. This butterfly shape. This got Batman and Robin, Batman on the side. It's a nice little find there. This is really interesting for butterfly collectors because this is the Mexican butterfly, and it's a Duncan. If you'll check that out there, it's C-A-M, not C-A-N like a Duncan. And so that is a true knockoff. So actually it becomes collectible because it's such a cheesy knockoff of the Duncan yo-yo. And then finally this Orbit Away, which is from the 60s. This has got the nice glitter pattern on it. And all right, cool. This one came off our wall of trade too. You've seen our wall of trade. That one came right off the wall of trade, so we'll get that replaced with something else. Let's. So we're all good on that deal.
Yeah.
That's the way it's done. Everybody goes away happy. It's not necessarily about value because I'm not calculating value. He's not calculating. We just want to. We got duplicates. We're trading. Everybody gets something that they want, and that's the way trading works. So we love to see trading going on at all the contests.
And next week, we've got a great show coming up. We will have a special guest, Dale Meyerberg. Dale is a national Grand Master. He is also a member of the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. We're going to catch up with Dale, see what he's been doing. I'll have a special topic next week. We have a couple contests still ongoing. Now, the mystery box we're going to do a week after that. So you got 2 weeks to get all those names in. Plenty of time to get people to like Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk page and get some 18 and unders liking that page. Also, just a reminder, we still have the celebrity yo-yo contest going on, so make sure you put a yo-yo in the hand of a celebrity. And always remember, you can never have too many yo-yos. We'll see you next week. Now in trading, nobody wins or loses. Generally, you're trading just yo-yos you have duplicates of, and with both sides going away feeling good about it. And that's the best way to acquire yo-yos. It's also the best way to acquire personal information and credit card numbers, etc. If they lay their wallet down while they're busy trading, this can be a bonus for you if you have an eagle eye. Sorry, Dano, it's a compulsion. And oh, by the way, you really should have higher limits on your cards. So we're almost out of time, but not so much out of time that we can't do the pop quiz. So that is coming up next. So I want to wish everybody good luck against the Nickinator and the creator of the Nickinator. So here we go with the pop quiz.
Doc Lucky's Pop Quiz. One shot, one champion. First to answer both questions in the Facebook comments wins. Get ready.
Okay, it's on that box, guys. So you can't read it, but that's maybe a little trick question on number one because it's not his early companies. I'll give you a hint there. In 20s, you're wrong on that answer. 1920s, don't go there. Question two should be easy if you were watching the show. if you just turned in for the pop quiz, you may have a little difficulty in both of those questions. Are we getting any answers there yet, Sean, coming through? Anything close? We're getting some answers thrown out, but we're way off. Again, we're not looking at that early Flores companies. We are looking for the ones that, oh, we got a winner. Let's see who it is. We're double checking. First time winner. Oh my gosh, the Nickinator and the Nickinator's mom go down. Who is it? Drake Pike? Drake Pike, congratulations, man. Good job. Took down the Nickinator, the mother of the Nickinator. What's that? What's that, Sean? Oh, and Sean was there working the dials. We apologize on a little bit of that mix up there. We finished the show a little bit too soon there. But Nick Pike, is that right? Did I say that right, Sean? Oh, I'm sorry, Nick Drake. Congratulations.
Going. The winner is Drake Pike, not Nick Pike, not
Drake
Nick.
Pike.
It's Drake Pike.
Drake Pike. Congratulations. I'm down here in Key West actually right now, so there may be stuff that's affecting my my hearing. I'm not sure. So good job. We'll get your snail mail information from you, and we will get all those goodies out to you. And congratulations also to Rick Rentz, who won our lightning round, which actually lasted a heck of a lot longer than our big main prize for this evening. So congratulations. Sean, let's find out what we got going on next week. And it should be a really good episode. We got a special guest.
And next week, we've got a great show coming up. We will have a special guest, Dale Meyerberg. Dale is a national grand master. He is also a member of the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. We're going to catch up with Dale, see what he's been doing. I'll have a special topic next week. We have a couple contests still ongoing. Now, the mystery box we're going to do a week after that. So you got 2 weeks to get all those names in. Plenty of time to get people to like Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk page and get some 18 and unders liking that page. Also, just a reminder, we still have the celebrity yo-yo contest going on, so make sure you put a yo-yo in the hand of a celebrity. And always remember, you can never have too many yo-yos. We'll see you next week.